I was coloring the building. I put on and took off the type, and I hung the type on the ginga.
After the white acrylic dried, I began to add some color. This stage is what I like to call draw the roll Tetris. It is where my idea finally starts to take shape. Once this part was finished, the building should start to transform according to my plan, from a royal marble-like 3D printed block into a group of Tetris pieces. It felt like the project was finally come to life, pieces by pieces. A really satisfying process to follow. The goal of this stage is to finish the first round of coloring, building up those different color blocks, and showing the rough shape of the final pieces. Getting the colors in the right position is the real challenge here. It's all about how to present each color block edges with the next. But it's not that hard to handle. With some type, we can mark the exact points in advance and make the whole process much easier. The only problem is, I have never actually tried this before. But we are in a top university in the world, the YouTube University. There are plenty of related tutorials out there. So let's just learn and give it a try together. Get acrylic paints, a few colors, some brushes, and a palette. Place the marble-like building onto the turntable and start adding color. At that time, I was not too sure about the color combination. I just tried it out on a few bricks first. Just a quick test that can save a lot of trouble later. Everything is set, and it's time to begin the first round of coloring. For the first round of coloring, there's no need to be too precise. Just focus on covering the general shapes, where we'll refine it later. Take your time with the color, slow and steady. There's no need to rush. A new color layer should go in smoothly. Use a dotting motion with your brush. I discovered something really handy, a white brick that can work perfectly as a palette. It is brilliant because the whole printing process doesn't need any water. The painting sticks right onto the surface. I don't even need a traditional palette anymore in this process. It's so convenient. You might be thinking it still doesn't quite look like Tetris. Most of the edges are still rounded, and the cubic shape isn't very obvious yet. But remember, this is a DIY project. It's hard to judge anything until the very end. For now, let's just move on to the next stage and start to refine it. It may still look pretty rough at this stage, but so far, it's exactly what I had in my mind. After I finished the first round of the coloring, a new challenge showed up: how to paint a cubic that actually looks like a cubic. You can see it right away. The edges twist and curve in all kinds of ways. But one thing's for sure, none of them are straight lines. And clearly, I don't have the steady hand of the artist who paints the waistline of a Rolls Royce. Unfortunately, not even a little close. So the main goal here is to create those clean straight lines, with little help from some tools. Once the lines fall into place, the cubic starts to look just right. I have learned plenty of model making videos on YouTube. When it comes to coloring, one trick I saw a lot: using type to define the lines. So I thought, why not give it a shot by myself? Grab some insulating tape, a hobby knife, and a few Tetris blocks I'm not using for now. Let's do a little experiment. Get a strip of insulating tape and scratch it slightly. It is elastic, so it grips the surface better than that way. As you apply it, press down firmly with both hands and make sure it sticks nice and tight. Then use a hobby knife to make a clean cut, just enough to separate the tape without disturbing the surface. For a better fit, make sure to let the tape hang slightly over the edge that you apply it. That little detail helps to warp around more smoothly. Apply the color layers a little at a time. Start simple, just one color from now and build from there. Take a moment to plan before each coloring section. A little preparation now will save a lot of time later. While coloring, try keeping the tape in place. It has two advantages. First, it keeps the edges crisp and clean. Second, you can check the surface coloring by observing how the paint lands on the tape. Don't worry, the tape will come off at the end, leaving behind clean and sharp lines. Once the first round of coloring was done, I let it sit about 30 minutes before carefully removing the tape. Then I hung the pieces on the Ginga to check out the effect. And to be honest, it was pretty satisfying. The result looks pretty good. Now we can reuse the tape, applying it to the connection points for the second group of color blocks that need attention. In the first round, I focused on the white blocks. For the second round, I tackled whatever color needs attention: white, black, brown, blah blah blah. If the tape isn't in the right length, a hobby knife can help you to make the precise adjustments. After all that, I'm very happy about the result. The third round is focused on the corners and some areas which I missed in previous two. The approach is pretty much the same as the first two, just a little bit more careful. After 3 rounds of working, the overall effect has improved a lot compared to where we started. Next time I might try using model masking tape for an even cleaner result, but for now, I will keep moving forward with what I have. Some of them are not perfect, but that's the part of the charm. A little roughness adds unique character of DIY. Up to this point, my design and plan have come together, just as I imagined, and I'm really satisfied. The result now really does have the feeling of Tetris. Next, it's time to check if the waterways are still clean after painting. From my past experience of creating a moss garden, I added some sponges into the moss building water channels to purify the water and slow down its flow. In my plan, pouring water from the top just once is enough to get all the tanks get water. Get some sponges ready along with a long winch. This will come in handy for the next step. First, tear the sponges into strips, then use a long winch to push them into the hole gently. Next, use a syringe to draw the water and gently push it. Let the water flow into the tank. After adding a bit of water, we can clearly see where the holes need to be drilled. This is probably the trickiest part of the whole project. The pipes are hidden inside, and after painting you can't see what's going on, which adds some uncertainty. But if we get this right, the rest of the setup should fall into place as easily as taking a breath. With no soil or moss in tanks, the water can flow through relatively smoothly. The water flowed slowly, but it didn't get clogged. The hole here needs to be drilled a bit larger. Before drilling, soak up water with a sponge. Then you are ready to drill safely. When drilling on PETG material, make sure to do it at a low speed. Going too fast generates heat from friction, which can ruin the drilling. Next, use a sponge to soak up all the water. The entire process was really enjoyable. The results already looks pretty decent at this stage.
In the next video, I will fold the screen mesh. I will plant the moss and seeds. Finally, I will make a plate and put minifigures.